Our guest today is Hazem Al-Masri, a Palestinian scholar from Gaza, currently residing in Taiwan. And speaking of Gaza, you wanted to share with us some aspects of the situation in Gaza that are not being covered as much by the Western media. Is that correct?
Yes, I have a lot to say about that, especially in the Western media. The mainstream in the Western media, they're covered, unfortunately, unbalanced. So they focus on one side. They focus on what happened on Israel, on the Israeli side, on October 7th. They cover all aspects of that event. Even I saw a report on Fox News about Papi who was left, or lost. So the report about the Papi. So they focus, but on the other side they have nothing. Only they give aerial photos on showing that demolished houses, without showing any photos or any footage that make people sympathize with the Palestinian. They want only the people that coverage to make them to sympathize with Israel. And the reality on the ground is horrible. Massacres, a lot of massacres every day, daily. So far Israel killed more than 10,000 people, about 4,000 children killed in these massacres. So there is no balanced coverage in the Western media. And they also fabricated some news about what happened. Like even the President Biden, he recruited himself to be the spokesperson of the Israeli government, but not to tell the truth, just to spread lies, like the story about beheaded babies. Actually, this news was not true, and the White House walked back from this news. And the same thing about the story about raped women. There is no one confirmed that in news. So we have a lot of stories to tell the people or to show them how savage our Palestinians are. And all these stories are not correct. Not correct because what happened on October 7 didn't start on October 7. If we just focus on the event of October 7, we take the event out of its context. The story started long time ago. The main problem, or the core of the problem, is in the Israeli occupation. In 1948, 750,000 Palestinians fled from their land, and Israel was established at that time. So after 19 years, in 1967, Israel occupied the rest of Palestine and Golan Heights and Sinai Peninsula. So when Israel occupied this territory, it intended to not leave this land. And when they say we want peace, they say that only by talk, only speaking. But on the ground, they destroy any chance to achieve peace. The question not about if Israel or Palestinian want peace. Actually, everyone wants peace. But the question should be, what is Israel's approach to achieve peace? Here is the question. The Israeli approach to achieve peace is to maintain the status quo, to maintain the Palestinian in indefinite military occupation and an apartheid system. This is their approach. and to distract them from demanding their right in their independence, statehood, sovereignty, and other big issues, they make them busy with small issues, with the needs of daily life, like how to move. They put a lot of checkpoints in the Palestinian areas. Even the checkpoints are not needed. If these checkpoints are not needed, they put it just to make the Palestinian come to them and negotiate with them about these checkpoints. Okay, so if they needed, for example, 80 checkpoints for security purpose, they establish 400 or 500 checkpoints to make the Palestinian life hard. So in this case, the Palestinian, instead of going to Israel to negotiate about the big issues like the statehood and national sovereignty and others, they go to negotiate with the small issues like this. And everyone is not allowed to move. For example, I am from Gaza, is not allowed to go to the West Bank. And the same thing, the West Bankers are not allowed to go to Gaza. They need permission from the Israeli army. And they also use other policies and techniques to control the Palestinian people. For example, when Israel occupied the West Bank and Gaza Strip, all the people, the first thing Israel did is to control the civil registry, the information on the people here, their ID numbers, their addresses, the location, everything. Israel controlled it, take over. So what did they do? All the Palestinians who happened to be outside the West Bank and the Gaza Strip, their identification number nullified. All of these people, many Palestinians who were outside Palestine, all of their identification nullified. They dropped their ID numbers. So when they come back, they are not allowed to come back to Palestine. They just will be like foreigners. Okay, a lot of people, a lot of my relatives are like this, including my father-in-law. So they found themselves refugees suddenly, without any reason. And the Israel used the civil registry to control the Palestinians' life. No one can move. No one can change his address from the West Bank to Gaza Strip. For example, I told you I cannot go to the West Bank. If you are not Palestinians, you can go there and work there. Okay, but for me, I can't. Even I am Palestinian, and that university is Palestinian universities. All of these, you cannot do that. So, and among the other policies Israel uses to control Palestinians is to withhold the Palestinian corpses, the Palestinian dead people, and the Palestinian attack Israel. Okay, and Israel managed to kill. So after they kill him, they don't return his body to his family. They withhold it, and they put it in cemetery. They call it cemetery of numbers. They give his body a number and keep it in the grave, or now in the refrigerators. Why? Because the Palestinian will come and negotiate with us later. So we will not allow them to have a space to discuss about the big issues. Just discuss about, please return this body, this corpses, and please open that road, please remove this choke point, please give us some water, and now salary. The Palestinian people, the employees who works in the Palestinian Authority, they don't receive full salary. Why? Because Israel deducts from the tax revenues of the Palestinian Authority. Israel collect the tax revenues in behalf of the Palestinian Authority, and then transfer that fund to the Palestinian Authority. But now they deduct. They said any Israeli killed by a Palestinian or in a Palestinian attack, we give them to his family or their family compensations. From where? From the Palestinian tax revenues, because they say that okay, the West Bank is different situation from the Gaza Strip. So anyone killed during the Palestinian attack, we give compensation from the Palestinian tax. So we deduct that, and the Palestinian Authority, you know that they help to keep the situation in the West Bank under control. They don't want any armed resistance against Israel. So Israel wants the Palestinian Authority to stay there, to stay strong. But even though they deduct from the salary, so the Palestinian Authority cannot pay full salary to its employees. So sometimes pay 60%, sometimes 70%. I don't know. Last month, maybe 90% or so. So that makes the Palestinian Authority go and beg the international community to help us to pay the salary and to pay the other expenses in the Palestinian territories. And Israel doesn't care. So the main goal of Israel to make the Palestinian people's lives hard. That in that way they will not look beyond that. If they have good life, so the Palestinian will start to look beyond that. Beyond that means statehood and the other big issues. They want their independence and self-determination. So Israel doesn't want to do that. Doesn't want Palestinians to have these. So it wants to make them always busy with these issues, small issues. Okay, and actually it is taken from an idea called bread and circuses. Bread and circuses to make the people for any corrupted authority, to make the people busy with two things: how to secure their living, bread, and to make them busy with circuses, entertainments, like games and other things. But unfortunately, Israel take the half bread. Entertainment is not included in their dealing. Only bread. So the Palestinian people are always busy with their bread or their living, securing their living. This is the situation in the West Bank in general. In Gaza Strip, we have different situation. In the Gaza Strip, we have siege since 16 years now, and the ruling party is different from the ruling party in the West Bank. They have different approach. The Palestinian Authority, as I told you, they reject to use armed struggle against Israel. But Hamas, the ruling party, believes in armed struggle against Israel. Okay, and because of that, Israel dealt with Hamas as an hostile entity. Okay, hostile entity. So they want to make the people's life in Gaza Strip as hard as possible, but without letting them die, the people there. So they have the siege there on the Gaza Strip since 2006 and 2007, in that date. How Israel dealt? Israel developed a theory called deterrence theory to deter any attack or any Palestinian attempt to resist the occupation militarily.
Mm-hmm.
So in this theory, Israel targets the Palestinians, the armed Palestinians, the militant and non-militant. For example, in 2001, Ariel Sharon, that was the prime minister of Israel, launched an operation called shaving. Shaving means to describe the Palestinian areas like a scalp, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And if any attack on Israeli targets came from the Palestinian area, so it need to be shaved. They will shave it. To shave the Palestinian land and area is a scalp, and everything on it, houses, farms, wells, any facilities,
Mm-hmm.
should be destroyed. Okay, so they shave it, and then they developed another. And actually, by the way, during this operation, the Israeli army destroyed our farm, and it affected our situation.
Gaza?
Yes, in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
Our farm, my family's farm, they destroyed it, and it has severe impact on our financial situation there. Okay, and they also developed more operation, more idea to destroy any attempts by Palestinian to resist. They also had operation mowing the grass to destroy anything or any attempt by Palestinian to resist. So, according to the deterrence theory, Israel targets militants and what is so-called the social incubator of those militants, and this one that gives Israel the right to target the militant and not militant, the surrounding areas, or even the civilians.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these people you see now, Israel consider them social incubator.
Oh,
these.
So when there's these bombings that occur, they are considering them social incubators.
Yes, social incubators.
And so that's also part of the target, I suppose.
Yes.
Okay.
Israel mainly doesn't have much information about Hamas. Where the Hamas militant, I think most of them hide in the tunnels, waiting for the Israeli army.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
But all of the people Israel targets now, all of them, or most of them, are civilians, and Hamas is still intact. Still intact. Only the way to cause harm for Hamas is to go and to destroy these tunnels. But all of these strikes we see now targets only civilians under the Israeli doctrine, saying that or describing them as social incubator. So the Israeli doctrine said that the best way to deal with any armed enemy is to use violence. If that violence didn't work, use more violence with them. Okay, this is the Israeli strategy toward the Palestinian. And at the same time, if they accepted to not to resist or to calm down, okay, and to ease, we can give some facilities, we can increase the number of people who can move out of Gaza Strip, because no one can go out to Gaza Strip without Israeli permission. So, for example, the last month, Israeli authorities accepted to grant the Palestinians 1,500 permission more. So the total will be 20,000 Palestinians who can go out. You know that Gaza Strip is described as the biggest open-air prison. Actually, it is true. can you believe that some people in Gaza Strip now, it's about 30 or 40 years, they never left Gaza Strip. They never left Gaza Strip. Why? Because there is no reason. They don't have justification to leave Gaza Strip. So, and you cannot say those people, they are not sort of people who live under a rock. They are educated. And they have high education. Some of them have a master's degree. They never left Gaza Strip. And the Gaza Strip is only 360 square kilometers.